If you like what you see, why don't you think about subscribing? And make sure to check out my channel for videos just like this. What's going on, folks? It's MrBucketlist here, and I am back on Margaritaville at sea, here to give you all a full review of the open air tram tour in Freeport, Bahamas. Let's check it out. So when it comes to any shore excursion review that I do, the main thing that prompts me to want to do it is basically when I try to search for it myself, if I can't find a high quality review of it, then I'm like, you know what, if I go ahead and do it, I'll go ahead and make one. And so that's what this video is all about. With that said, I will be giving you all a full breakdown and walkthrough of the excursion itself. Just kind of some tips and some expectations, and then my final thoughts at the very end. So I hope you all find this enjoyable and also informational. Now, when it comes to this tour is actually $69.99 for adults and $59.99 for children. And this takes place on Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, so not the islander that may be coming out after this video gets launched. This will be in Freeport, Bahamas. Now, as far as the length of the tour and the time of the tour, so I believe they have two different time slots. Ours was actually early in the morning, so we got off the ship and on the tram by like 10 a.m. And then they had a second one as well. We were actually on the green tram and they had a blue tram as well. It's two different drivers. I'll show them right here. They're both very nice gentlemen. Say what's going on.
Hey, my friends. Bar Smith here. Good to see you, tour guide with the open air tram.
The guy with his glasses on, his name is Nava. He was actually our tour operator.
Start our tour with a toast.
Okay.
With a toast of the Bahamas.
Cool. And then the guy that was pouring this drink right here, his name is Mark. He was the other tour operator, and he was really nice as well. They were both really friendly. They know a lot about the island, and they were really cool to talk to. Now let's get to the walkthrough of this excursion. So again, you wake up around 10 or maybe 12, depending on your tour time, and then you head down to the actual port, and then you head down to the almost like a shuttle van area. And so you get in your shuttle van. I talked to Nava about this, and he basically said because the van itself is faster than the tram, he added this portion in recently. But you get into the actual van, and then you drive to the market square, the market that's here in Freeport, Bahamas. Now, once you make it to this marketplace, you can stop by and maybe get a quick drink or something like that, just depending on the time period and what day of the week it is. You can also run to the bathroom, just any necessary errands before you take the tram tour itself. And then after that, you do board the tram. Now, there isn't any assigned seatings or anything like that. And it's really comfortable. It's like just an open air tram. If it's raining or bad weather, they do have like these little covers that you can pull down. But thankfully, when we were there, it was just cloudy, but it was still really warm. So it's a nice breeze on the tram. Now, when it comes to the tram, this isn't all electric tram. It is environment friendly, and this is one of these narrated tours. And so the entire time while we're driving there, my tour operator was giving us just different details about the tram, about the area, about the locations that we were going to, things like that. So that was pretty cool. Now, one of the first places that we stopped at was this hotel, and at this hotel, it actually included one of the lighthouses. Now, we only spent maybe about, I would say no more than maybe 2 to 3 minutes here, but it was still cool to see a lighthouse. If you want to come here and get some pictures, do your thing. Then after we left the lighthouse, the next area that we went to was like this beach area. So that was almost like a 20-minute drive from where the lighthouse was. But it was pretty cool to see. Like, so you just kind of drive to the beach and then you drive back, and on the way again, our tour operator was just kind of explaining what we were seeing, things like that. He told us about this castle that we were able to see that was in the distance. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that was even on the island, but apparently that was like one of the islands where one of the kings or something like that lived at. And he gave us all the history behind it, but it was cool to see this castle.
Yes. Grand Baham is in a beautiful location, but we're also in a hurricane zone.
Now, there was actually a few other stops that we had, but it was not included in the tram because the tram itself isn't that speedy, and so we just kind of took our little van. But we actually stopped at 2 different markets. Now, the first market that we went to, I'll get back to that one in a little bit. But the second one we went to, he basically asked us, like, hey, do you all want to stop at this one? It's a little bit smaller, but it's cool to stop at. And everyone was pretty much like, no, we're tired. So we didn't do that. And then we also went to this lighthouse. Now, this one we didn't stop at, but it was actually the smallest lighthouse in the Bahamas, and that thing was like super small. So it was cool to see, like, it's just kind of a random stop. We're just kind of seeing different places. And then the final stop that we went to as well was this like almost like cigar bar area. I don't really know what this was, but it was cool to go inside. I'm just not really sure why we went there. But that was all the major stops. And then the major location as far as like the final stop before it was time to go was this marketplace. And so the marketplace was actually my favorite place to go. I would have been just content and happy if we just kind of went there and stayed there the entire time. At this marketplace, they had fresh food. I mean, they had bar crawls, they had the marina. Depending on the day of the week you go there, they could have performances here. And so it was a really cool site. And that was almost like our central place where the tram was at and also where the bus was at. Now, one last thing I almost forgot to mention is the beach that you can access from the marketplace. So we did take the tram, we drove to a beach, but we didn't actually get out. We just kind of drove there and drove back. But if you actually want to go to the beach and maybe get in the water or just kind of chill, there is a beach that's maybe about, I would say about maybe 8 to 10 minutes walk away from the marketplace. And so you walk over there, you can chill. Obviously, it's got a little beach stuff, so like restaurants, bars, things like that. Or if you just want to get in the water, it's there for you.
Especially the northern Bahamas, Grand Bahamas.
Okay, so let me give my final thoughts before I give you all my official rating. So again, this tour is nothing adrenaline about it. It's one of those easy riding tours where it's really just a narrated tour where you kind of just listen to someone speak and just kind of talk about the surroundings and things like that. It is good for people that want a relaxing tour. So say, for example, if you had a really rough night, if you just want something chill, this is definitely for you. Again, you gotta realize that there's not really much going on in Freeport, Bahamas. That's why if you're not necessarily at a resort, you're really not seeing much. And so this kind of tour kind of reinforces that. And with that said, I would say maybe try it out. So this is a good way to see the city, but some people may be disappointed. The only reason why I say that is on my tour excursion, I did get to know quite a few of the people that were on there, and they all were kind of saying I was expecting more and it wasn't really the best. And so I just have to be honest with people. But again, if you want to see different sites, if you want to get a full narrated tour, if you want to have basically the relaxation of seeing the city without having to drive or rent a vehicle, have to pay for a taxi cab, things like that, I would honestly say this is your best bet. I hope this review was helpful. If so, definitely check out my 2 reviews of this cruise ship. This is the only cruise ship I've ever repeated, and I've been on 20 plus cruises, and so I definitely had a lot to say about it. I hope to see you soon. It's Mr. Bucket List. Peace out.